It's been 2 months since the Supreme Court affirmative action ruling essentially ended the practice of race-conscious college admissions. We're talking to the president of Fort Lewis College to see how that ruling affects local colleges and universities. You're watching the Local News Network, brought to you by Sirius Texas Barbecue and Skyute Casino. I'm Connor Shreve. The Supreme Court's ruling at the end of June sent ripples through the higher education world. But Fort Lewis College President Tom Striticus says the decision doesn't do anything to change the value of diversity in education or how FLC operates.
We recruit, we promote, we build an inclusive community around ensuring that the greatest number of diverse applicants can apply to Fort Lewis College. There's nothing in this decision that stops institutions from talking about the value of diversity and acting on those commitments, as long as they are not using those in admissions decisions.
Striticus believes and cites studies that show diverse student populations benefit learning. But he also points out the Supreme Court ruling affects such a tiny portion of students nationwide. The case specifically addressed admissions policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. That's a small portion of higher education. While Harvard does tend to dominate college headlines in the national media, Striticus says the vast majority of American students are educated at places like Fort Lewis College.
We admit every student who we believe can be successful. We don't consider race in admissions. We haven't, even prior to this decision. And we value diversity. So it doesn't mean that we don't value diversity on our campus. We do. It's central to who we are. But it is not used as a factor in admissions.
The FLC student population is about 40% Native American, in part because of the Native American tuition waiver it offers. Fort Lewis also provides free tuition for students who come from families making less than $60,000 per year. Striticus says the ruling did ignore a vital societal interest of diversity in education.
So if we want to be serious about improving outcomes for students of color, and we are very serious about that at Fort Lewis, we want to pay attention to those places that are doing that work. And to put it in perspective, Fort Lewis has the honor of working with a student population that's about 40% Native American. Harvard's population of Native American students is less than 0.2 of 1%.
While the ruling might set an admissions precedent, it does not have anything to do with how schools recruit or conduct outreach. There is a possibility that follow-up cases could narrow the scope of how schools are allowed to operate in those realms.
And that would be really quite tragic, because one of the very rich things about Fort Lewis really is our diversity and the fact that students get to learn with an amazing group of students as they're developing themselves as leaders and the work that they want to go do out in the community.
Striticus is clear in his belief that the SCOTUS ruling is a step back for higher education, but also quick to point out that it won't change anything in terms of the commitment to diversity that Fort Lewis and most other schools hold in high regard. You can learn more about this and other stories at durangolocal.news. Thank you for watching this edition of the Local News Network. I'm Connor Shreve.